I know a lot of people were, I don't want to say shocked, but they seem to be overwhelmed by Romo getting 17 million to do television. Here's what happened. He had leverage. He had two places, and they both badly wanted him. So here you had ESPN, which was willing to pay him. The only way CBS is going anywhere near $17 million a year is because they know he's got someplace else that will pay him right there. So they had no choice. Now, you hear now these football players make comments about, oh, boy, I could see myself doing that. Oh, really? Just because you play football doesn't mean you're worth 1 cent in the booth. Romo has, without question, cut through and made himself the biggest and the most unique broadcaster since John Madden revolutionized the business of doing NFL games. And Romo and Madden have something very much in common, and that is they have the right broadcasters with them. Because one of Madden's greatest strengths was that Pat Summerall gave him all the room he needed to perform. And Nance has done the same thing. First of all, Romo was his idea. It wasn't anybody else's idea, it was his idea. Secondly, he saw something in Romo when he went to those meetings with him that no one else saw. Secondly, he grew up with Pat Summerall, and he understands what Summerall brought, and he has done the same thing. And realizing he had a unique talent, he gave him the rope and the room to work and to provide something that was different to the broadcast. And Romo's done that. So anybody who begrudges him that money, you know what? Just being jealous. He's earned every dollar of it. First of all, he has leverage. If he didn't have leverage, he wouldn't have the money. And secondly, he has brought something new to a trade that's been there for a while. He has changed the way these guys do the games. And they're all trying to do what he does now, but none of them do it like he does. And once in a while, listen, there's solid announcers out there. There's a solid play-by-color guys out there. Troy Aikman's really good. Does a very good job. He's different than Romo, that's all. Romo has a just unique way of doing it. And it works for him. And it's made him kind of this new cult figure, so it's worked. And they did the right thing. You know what? Football, they pay billions of dollars for the rights to these games. Why would they not pay for an announcer they thought made a difference? Now, it's true. And this puts a distinct cap on what these guys are worth. Because if you think one person watches the game because of the announcer, you're out of your mind. You know that Monday Night Crew, which is not very good, has driven people crazy for years. Nobody turns the game off because they're doing the game. Nobody does. Nobody will turn on or off any NFL game because who the announcer is. You're going to watch it. You might not like it as much. You might have a thing for Romo. You might have the Tony Romo fan club. But the bottom line is you're going to watch the game no matter who does it. You're never going to turn the game on or off because of the announcer. You could put two guys off the street on the Super Bowl and it will get the same number. You could make it, I'm telling you, you could take two guys out of Northwestern who are in the school there of broadcasting and put them on the Super Bowl and you'll get the same exact number you would with the guys who do the game this year. Nobody watches the game for that reason. You might like it a little more. In the old days, people always said, I know Giant fans used to go, oh, great, we got sound. On Sunday, when they first hear the voices, they'd be, great, I love that it's Summerall and Madden. That's great. People want to hear Summerall and Madden. And I'm sure now people say, great, I got Romo today. But they're not going to not watch it because Romo didn't do it. So there is a cap on this. It's subjective what we're talking about, but he does bring something different to the table. That's all. He's broken through. What you try to do in any parts of this business is to break through and to be a brand and to be different than everybody else is, so that you're not the same. And remember, there's a lot of people, and they're all taught to do the games the same way. I mean, I used to go through this for years and years because I used to look at all the game tapes when I was a kid. It's one of the things I used to do for the network. I used to go through the game tapes. No one knew I did it, but I did it. And, I've told people, I put reports together of what I thought was going on during the games, how they thought they were doing. And that was used by the, producers at the time and, the executive producers, but no one knew I did it. But, it's subjective. I might have liked someone's style more than someone else's style. I mean, there's nuts and bolts things that you do right and wrong. We can always talk about what they are. I mean, there's always things you have to do right and wrong in the broadcast. But my point is, there's also a part where it's subjective, where you might like the sound of someone's voice, or you might like the way he gets in and out of plays, or you might not like his style or his sense of humor or whatever it might be. And Romo has created this special niche, but it's funny. The thing that amazed me was not how the fans reacted, but how the current players reacted to Romo making the money. That was the funniest part. They reacted wildly to him making that money as a broadcaster, making football money to do the games. And I can tell you right now, I know a lot of people are screaming for Peyton Manning. Been yelling for years for Peyton to do the games. Peyton is great at what he does. When you saw him on that Kobe thing, he did an unbelievable testimonial. You see him in commercials, he's great. You see him up there being himself or doing those vignettes, he's terrific. On the games, he would be ordinary. I'm just telling you, I don't think his style and what he does would be great on the games. I think he'd be okay. I don't think he'd be great. I think he's much better doing what he does now. Being Peyton and doing what he does, I think you know what to expect. You know what you're going to get from him. He's very good at it. I thought that night when he did the testimonial to the NFL, I was watching, it was the night before the Super Bowl. He did the NFL testimonial on the NFL Network for their award show to Kobe Bryant. I thought he did an unbelievable job. You couldn't put anybody up there any time, any place who could have done better. That's a strength. I don't think the games would be and I think he knows that. Or I know he doesn't want to do the games, but I think he's smart to stay away because I think the people are expecting so much from him on the games that almost anything would be a disappointment because they're almost expecting him to, do it. They're expecting him to become like Romo became. And Romo just came up with a different way of doing it. He did it like he's quarterbacking the game. He basically put his helmet on and he decided, I'm going to basically use the keys I know, talking to people on Friday in real time. I am going to look over the field and I am going to basically do this through the eye of the quarterback. And he's done that. And it's been incredibly successful. And it's a new style, and it's worked. And he's also got a kind of a different personality, and it's worked. So good for him. Congratulations. He's earned it. You know what? He took a swing and he hit big. Knocked it out of the park. So many guys fail. We saw Joe Montana step in and do that and last the season. Bill Walsh step in and do that and last the season. So many guys you thought had great personality step in and never be successful at it. It's not an easy thing to do. To do it really, it's a thing that you can do okay, but to do it really well, like no one knew Madden as a coach. No one realized Madden was going to be like that ever until they saw those Miller Lite commercials. If you remember those old Miller Lite when he was bursting through, and Madden as a coach was really quiet. Not if you knew him, but if you didn't know him, he was really quiet. I mean, he had a temper on the sideline. He would yell and stuff, but you didn't know that he would be like that. And he obviously, became bigger than life on a broadcast, and people loved him. They like Romo the same way. Back after this.